Harlan rarely made mistakes, but Sarah Kensington wasn't part of the plan. She saw what no one was ever meant to see, and for the first time in his life, Harlan was to blame.
The salty Pacific wind whipped across the cliff as Eddie Stackhouse, 62 years old, kept a steadying hand on his friend's arm. Harlan Voss, the brilliant, once untouchable billionaire, moved slowly now, every step labored, but he refused to stop. "Easy, I've got you," Eddie said quietly, guiding Harlan down the narrow private staircase that led beneath the mansion. The older man's weight felt frighteningly light. They reached the bottom. A massive titanium vault door stood open, revealing a secret laboratory bathed in cool blue light. Glowing consoles lined the walls. Strange machinery hummed softly. In the center of the room stood a tall, sleek, cylindrical chamber. Harlan paused at the entrance, catching his breath. He looked at Eddie with calm, clear eyes. "Last chance, my friend. I need you to be absolutely sure." His voice was thin but steady. "This isn't some weekend trip into the past. It's one way. No return ticket. Once you step through, you'll have to live the long way home. Every single day, every mistake, every triumph, all of it."
Eddie stood silent for a moment, the gravity of the choice settling over him. 40 years of regret, songs no one ever heard, a life that always felt just out of reach. He met Harlan's gaze. "I'm sure. This is what I want." Harlan gave a small, proud smile. He reached over to a nearby console and picked up a sleek black laptop. For a brief second, his hand trembled as he held it out. "Take this with you. It's important. Guard it carefully." Eddie accepted the laptop without question, tucking it under his arm alongside his old acoustic guitar. He didn't ask what was on it. There wasn't time. Harlan turned toward the glowing cylindrical chamber, his steps growing weaker. Eddie quickly moved to support him again. "You don't have to do this alone," Eddie said, voice thick. Harlan chuckled softly, the sound turning into a painful cough. "In a few minutes, I'll be 12 years old again, starting over at MIT. Imagine that." He looked at Eddie with deep affection. "Look me up someday. We'll probably argue about physics." They stopped in front of the time machine. The hum grew louder, filling the lab. Harlan placed a frail hand on Eddie's shoulder, squeezing with what little strength he had left. "You have real talent, Eddie. You always did. Now you'll have the chance to show the world. Don't waste it." Tears welled in Eddie's eyes. "Thank you, Harlan, for everything." Their goodbye was short, raw, and deeply felt. Two men from completely different worlds who had found something real in the final chapter of one of their lives. Harlan reached out and activated the sequence on the control panel. His face was pale, sweat beading on his forehead. Time was almost gone. "Go change everything," he whispered. Eddie stepped into the cylinder. The cylinder door sealed with a soft hiss. Cool blue light enveloped Eddie completely. Harlan's hand hovered over the final switch, trembling now. He looked at his friend one last time through the transparent panel, eyes full of pride and sorrow. "Make it count, Eddie." He pressed the switch. A brilliant flash swallowed everything. Eddie was gone. Harlan stood alone in the lab for a moment, breathing hard, a faint smile on his lips. 1986, he whispered to himself. 22 years old again, with 40 years of music in your head and a mind sharper than anyone on Earth. You're finally going to get the life you deserved. He didn't know yet how wrong his calculations were.
Late afternoon sunlight stretched long across the empty Westfield High football field. The cheerleading squad had just wrapped up practice and was heading back toward the school. Sarah Kensington suddenly stopped and motioned to her friends. "I left my equipment bag out by the bleachers. I'll catch up in a minute." She jogged back across the grass alone. The stadium was quiet, almost eerily still. As she reached under the bleachers, a low electric crackle cut through the air. Then came the flash. A blinding burst of white light in the center of the field, followed by sharp, snapping arcs of electricity dancing across the turf. A deep, thunderous boom rolled over the field, even though the sky was perfectly clear. Sarah ducked behind the bleachers, heart racing. When the light finally died down, a lone figure lay sprawled on the grass. It was Eddie Stackhouse. She recognized him instantly from third-period trigonometry, but something felt different now. His messy, dirty blonde hair, the sharp features of his face, the way he pushed himself up with quiet strength, he was attractive, really attractive. And now this? Whatever had just happened made him 10 times more intriguing. Eddie sat up slowly, looking dazed and disoriented. He pressed a hand to his temple, blinked hard a few times, then spotted his old acoustic guitar lying nearby. He grabbed it and staggered to his feet, swaying slightly before heading unsteadily toward the school building. Sarah stayed hidden, watching him the entire way. Her pulse refused to slow down. The quiet musician from trig class had just appeared out of thin air in the middle of a lightning storm with no clouds in the sky. The image burned itself into her mind. Once Eddie disappeared around the corner, Sarah stepped out cautiously. That's when she noticed the object lying in the center of the scorched circle on the grass. It was sleek, black, and thin, perfectly rectangular with smooth edges and a matte finish that caught the sunlight. A small silver IBM logo gleamed on the lid. The device looked impossibly advanced, like nothing she had ever seen. Sarah approached slowly. She picked it up. It was surprisingly heavy and still warm to the touch. For a long moment, she simply stared at it, turning it over in her hands, curiosity and excitement swirling inside her. Eddie Stackhouse had gone from background classmate to the most interesting boy in school in a single heartbeat. Without hesitation, she unzipped her equipment bag and carefully slid the mysterious black device inside, nestling it between her pom-poms and notebooks. She zipped the bag shut. As she started walking back toward the school, something made her glance over her shoulder one last time. There, standing motionless in the exact same spot where Eddie had appeared just minutes earlier, was another figure. Tall, dressed in dark clothes, watching the school building with cold focus. Sarah's breath caught. The stranger hadn't been there a second ago. She froze for half a heartbeat, then quickly turned and kept walking, pretending she hadn't seen anything. Her grip tightened on the strap of her bag. Whatever was happening, it was bigger than just Eddie. The bell rang across campus, signaling the end of the period. Students poured out of buildings, laughing and shouting as they rushed to their next classes. Eddie Stackhouse barely noticed. He slipped away from the main flow of bodies and made his way back out to the football field, eyes scanning the grass frantically. His heart was still racing from the arrival. He remembered the laptop in his hands right before the jump, and now it was gone. He reached the scorched patch of turf and stopped, turning in a slow circle. From the edge of the bleachers, Sarah Kensington watched him for a moment, then started walking straight toward him across the field, her equipment bag slung over her shoulder. The head cheerleader moved with easy confidence, but there was a spark of genuine curiosity in her eyes. Eddie looked up, startled. Sarah Kensington, the most popular girl in school, was walking right at him. She stopped a few feet away, tilting her head with a playful little smile. "Looking for something, Stackhouse?" Eddie froze. Up close, she was even more striking than he remembered from his first life. And the way she was looking at him now, like he was suddenly interesting, completely threw him. He tried to play it cool. "Just thought I'd drop something out here earlier." Sarah took one slow step closer, still smiling. "During last period? That's funny. I was out here too." The second bell rang, the one that meant they were now officially late. Neither of them moved. Sarah's voice stayed light, teasing. "You know, you're a hard guy to figure out. One minute you're the quiet new kid in trig who barely says 2 words, The next minute, you're out here in the middle of the field acting like you lost the most important thing in the world. She raised an eyebrow. Did you lose something, Eddie? He swallowed hard. This was surreal. The Sarah Kensington he remembered from his original senior year had never even glanced in his direction. Now she was standing in the middle of the varsity football field, talking to him like they were old friends, and definitely flirting. I'm fine, he said, trying to deflect. Really, you should probably get to class. Sarah didn't budge. I could help you look, if you tell me what it is. She took another step closer, her eyes sparkling with mischief and something deeper. Come on, what'd you lose? Eddie opened his mouth, then closed it again. He had no idea how to handle this version of Sarah. She let the silence hang for a beat, then finally unzipped her equipment bag. She reached in and pulled out the sleek black device, holding it up between them. Is this what you're looking for? Eddie's eyes widened. Before he could answer, Sarah's gaze flicked past him for half a second, toward the bleachers. Her smile faltered just slightly, but she quickly recovered, locking eyes with him again. The mysterious man in dark clothes stood motionless behind the bleachers, watching the two of them with cold, calculating interest.